And you can add an endless number of colors if you wish. Just have your gradient rectangle selected, hover over the bottom of the slider, and then just click, and a color will be added. Again, if you wish to change it, just make sure that little triangle on top is black, which means it's selected, and then drag out your colors to change it. Add colors. I'll add another one right here, and maybe change it to white, and so forth. So all you need to do is just hover at the bottom and then click once, and a new color will be added. And that color actually will be the result of, you know, what's before it and after it. But you can change it. You can, again, drag a different color. In this case, I'm adding a lot of magenta to make it dark red, for example. So I get this effect of a gradient, and now let me show you how to you know, play with the locations and the angles. First of all, the angles. The colors right now are at 0 degrees, and I can change that to anything I want, a positive or a negative value. Now, what does that mean? It means I can tilt the direction of the colors. Currently, they are, you know, from top to bottom. They are vertical, but I can change that. Let's say if I want them, oops, I don't have my rectangle selected. I have to have it selected and then go to angles. And now when I hit 90 degrees, you know what 90 degrees is. Obviously, it's, you know, the vertical colors will become horizontal. Let's say you choose 45 degrees, you get a 45-degree angle. So whatever you like, you can control from here. You can also control the location of these little colors. Now, you can do that manually. Let's say I want to bring this white very close to this fuchsia. You can do that. Or you can just have the color selected, again by having the triangle black, and change the location by setting a value within the location option. Let's say 40%. It will go all the way between the yellow and the dark fuchsia in this case. So you can do it either mathematically or manually. Remember that when you play with these rhombuses, it means that you're bringing a color closer to the other one or further, and then it gives a certain effect of blurriness or of color concentration. Last but not least, if we change all of this to a radial gradient, you can get this effect. So, I mean, it depends on what the drawing is, what the effect you wish to do is. If you have a sun that has, you know, glares around it, that's one thing. Maybe you need a radial gradient. Maybe you need a linear gradient for a different purpose. It depends on what you're doing. Now, if you wish to get rid of these colors that you added, maybe you made a mistake, maybe you don't like the screen anymore, just hover over it, click on it, and then drag it out, and it just disappears. Select, drag out, select, drag out, and so forth. I can also select this and drag it out, and that's it. Now, another thing I wanted to mention is that you can, let's say you end up liking this color, this gradient of magenta to blue, and you wish to keep it because you want to use it for something else. What you can do is add it into your swatches panel. So let me go ahead and open my swatches panel. It's right here. So again, I'm facing that situation where my gradient panel closes because I opened the swatches panel. So I'm going to take my swatches tab and place it outside so it's independent from the panel box, and then go back to gradient. So I have this color again, my rectangle is selected. Let's pretend I like it. And I will just click on the color, which is right here, hold it, and then drag it into my swatches panel. And as you can see, a plus sign appears, which means it's ready to add that gradient for me in the swatches panel. So the benefit of having my gradient color within the swatches panel is, for example, if I have, let's say, a star that's being colored in this dark brown because that's the color that I happen to have in my toolbox color palette. Another star, a third star, and so forth. Maybe I wish to apply this color on these stars, but if I don't save my color within the swatches panel, how will I know, the values that I prepared, that I work with? Maybe you spent a lot of time on coming up with a color. You mixed certain colors together and you end up liking a result. How will you remember the values, the degree of inclination, the opacity that you applied? So the minute you like a gradient, just drag it and place it add it into your swatches panel. So then if you wish to apply it on other objects, you just later on, if they have a different color, you just select them, go to your swatches panel and just click on that color, and they become that gradient color. And then finally, if you have, by the way, if you see my swatches panel empty, that's because I deleted many colors, just so not to confuse you with so many colors here. You can just select them and throw them in the trash. A last thing I want to show you in this tutorial is, what if I have colors here that already exist that I worked with? For example, this particular brown, which we used in the Woody Allen exercise, it's still in my swatches panel. What if I want to include it within this gradient of blue and magenta? Not that it's going to be nice, but let's see how that works. So let's say I select this star, and I obviously know it is this gradient color because you can see that in the swatches panel that color is selected. There's a white selection around that box. And if I wish to add, for example, brown here within this between the blue and the red and the magenta, I just take the brown color, drag it into my gradient, and then drop, and that's how you will add that brown color within your gradient. This is looking odd. Let me change it to linear. So you'll have the brown between the blue and the magenta. This is important because, again, sometimes you have created your own colors. Maybe you have a specific beige that's, sort of a dirty color that you wish to use. You worked hard on finding its values. You don't want to lose it. You put it in the swatches panel. And then you want that particular beige to be in a gradient of other colors. It's very hard to remember the values that you used, so just save it in your swatches panel and then later on drag it. Again, let me show you. Maybe I want to add white here. Just drag the color into your gradient panel. The plus sign shows, and then drop your hand and that color will appear.